Thank you for watching WISD TV. My name is Dale Caffey. Pleased to be on the campus of Waco High School inside the Performing Arts Center with a recent graduate. His name is Matthew Reynolds, and he is your 2013 recipient of the Dorothy Crippen Hurd Scholarship here at Waco High. In 1999, Norman Hurd gave a substantial donation to the Waco ISD Education Foundation to honor his late wife, Dorothy Crippen Hurd, who was a 1940 graduate of Waco High. In 2003, Mr. Hurd subsequently passed away, and the endowment grew at that time as well. Bottom line, since the year 2000, the Dorothy Crippen Hurd Scholarship has gone to well-deserving graduates like Matthew Reynolds. And we are so pleased to have him with us today, coming back during the summer to do this interview. And I know that you're a busy man these days, looking for a summer job before you head off to college. But congratulations on receiving the Dorothy Crippen Hurd Scholarship. When you found out that you had won this scholarship, tell me what went through your mind.
Okay, well, I have a little secret to tell you. At senior awards, when they brought out the big checks, they turned them around so we couldn't see it, but I definitely saw through one of them and saw that it said Matthew Reynolds on it. So I'm like, okay, well, I won that one. But I was a little bit in shock and surprised just because it's a lot of money, and I was really hoping to win it, and I was more than elated.
Dorothy Crippen Hurd, a 1940 graduate of Waco High, of course, to her, Waco High meant a lot, obviously, because her husband, Norman Hurd, who was not a graduate here, gave us a substantial donation back in 1999 to honor her memory. Waco High means a lot to you, too, because you spent a lot of your time on this stage. So talk about, I guess, the legacy that Dorothy Crippen Hurd left behind, and that you get a scholarship in her honor.
Well, I mean, anyone who comes to Waco High knows that it's a very unique high school experience in a multitude of ways. And I think that this scholarship offers a chance for students like myself to really feel like we're leaving something behind and really feel like we're a part of something big. And it really adds to my sense of appreciation for this school, for sure.
I want to tell the folks at home the criteria that's involved in even applying for this scholarship, and we'll go to a graphic and show you just some of what you have to do to even put your name in the hat. Number one, you have to be in the top 5% of the graduating class that you happen to be in. You have to demonstrate leadership during high school, participate in community volunteer work during your high school years. Here's something: obtain an SAT score of 1800 or an ACT score of 27. Complete a balanced college preparatory program in advanced academic studies, and you have to have attended Waco High School for at least 3 years, which meant you have to be here sophomore, junior, senior years. For you, that was no problem, though, because you're more or less a lifetime Waco ISD product. Let's talk a little bit about your education in Waco ISD, beginning in the elementary years.
Well, we moved, my mom, my brother, and I moved from Tennessee when I was in the second grade, and I enrolled myself, or my mom enrolled me in Mountain View Elementary, and I went there through 5th grade, and then I went to Lake Air Middle School before it was consolidated, and I was at Waco High all 4 years.
Wonderful. Let's talk about some of the highlights you had. I know you had to answer a series of questions when you applied for this scholarship, but let's first talk about your experiences at Waco High School. We mentioned at the onset that this stage was part of your home because you were a performer, especially in the Waco High Choir. But talk about some of your memories that you're going to take with you as you head to college from your 4 years here at Waco High.
Oh, well, I made sure to really involve myself in extracurricular activities. I was involved in choir, theater, mock trial, tennis, and band my freshman year. And I definitely feel very comfortable on this stage. My favorite experiences probably come from choir and theater, just because it's a group of really diverse individuals coming together to put on a great production, and all to achieve a common goal, and it really brings a group together. And I thoroughly enjoyed that every time that we put something on.
You are heading to Trinity University, I believe. Yes. Is that correct? Tell me a little bit about what your goals are there and what you might major in and someday become.
Well, I'm still very much undecided as far as my college study plans. But right now I'm really thinking about either a degree in music education or political science and public policy. Not that the two are in any way related, but those are two things that I find a lot of my passion in. Of course, music because I was enrolled in choir for so long, and political science partially because of my experience in mock trial.
Right.
But as far as my goals, no matter what I do, I want to find success in college and just find a career about which I'm very passionate.
Right. One of the criteria, of course, was to be involved in the advanced academic studies. Talk about some of the courses you took here at Waco High School that have prepared you for your life at Trinity University.
Probably the most difficult classes I took at Waco High were Ms. Kopas's Government and Economics class, which I took my junior year, and AP Calculus with Mr. Wilson. Both of those required so much outside work. Like, I never really had to study as much for any tests before Ms. Kopas's class, and I found out very quickly that that pattern had to change if I wanted to pass her class, let alone make a high grade in it. And then Mr. Wilson's class, I have always really loved and excelled at math, and calculus was a really good way to supply for my need to do things mathematically, because that's just how I think, and his teaching style and the learning environment in there was just astounding. I loved every second of it, which is something you don't hear very much about calculus.
Do you feel like the classes here have prepared you well for life beyond high school?
Absolutely, yes.
Very good. One of the questions they ask you also in competing for this scholarship is where you see yourself 5 or 10 years from now. Sometimes that's hard to do because, as you just told me, you still don't know about a certain major for sure. But you mentioned finding something in which you have passion. So talk a little bit about where you see your future.
I could really see myself doing something with music. The past 4 years doing choir and theater has really helped me to find that inner love for music that I didn't know I had before. But also having a career in political science and public policy, what I would want to do with that is go to law school and do litigation, probably for environmental law. And I think that would just be a great way to use my intellect and my abilities to really make a difference in the world. And I think 5 to 10 years from now, no matter what I'm doing, I want to be able to impact the people around me and somehow make a difference, whether it be with music or with changing public policy.
I certainly believe you impacted a lot of the people here at Waco High School and the fans of Waco High, particularly a couple of years ago in the first ever musical that they performed here. And that would be Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And you were Joseph.
Yes, I was.
And you really carried a load there. Talk about that experience, because that's one that I still look back and remember with a lot of fondness myself. And I know our superintendent, Dr. Bonnie Kane, every time she sees you, she calls you Joseph, I think, instead of Matthew. Yep. So that's something that you can take with you. Talk about that experience.
Well, that experience in particular, along with every theater production I ever took part in, really taught me the importance of time management and discipline. That one, especially because I was the lead in the show, which at first was a really scary thought. But once it started moving along, I really grew to love it. And it was probably the first time that I really, in my extracurriculars, I really took a leadership position. And it was great to see the progression of the show from its roots at the beginning when everything was just a mess and awful, of course, to when we performed it in January last year, and it was just fantastic. It was maybe the pinnacle of my high school career.
Well, it certainly was a lot of hard work and a great achievement, and I'm not sure if that was your answer on this particular question that you were asked for the Norman Crippen Hurd or the Dorothy Crippen Hurd Scholarship, but the question was, tell me about a personal achievement that makes you proud. Was that it, or was there another answer to this question?
I talked about a few things. One of them was all of my experiences in theater, starting with Joseph and ending with the one-act play competition show this year, Midsummer Night's Dream. But I also talked about my role in choir and my sophomore year when I made it to the area round in the all-state process and didn't make the all-state choir. I made a point to work so much harder the next year to make sure that I did make it, and I made it 2 years. Right. So that's something I'm very proud about as well.
Well, yes, and I want to reiterate that, a two-time all-state choir member, and congratulations for that. And another reason I would think that you feel like music may be in your future as well.
Absolutely. TMEA, which is the largest music convention in the country, it offers so much for the student to see when they're down there, and it was life-changing, to say the least. I loved it so much.
Another one of the questions you had to answer for the committee before you were awarded this scholarship was, who has influenced your life and why? Do you remember the answer you gave?
I do. It's very typical, but I said my mom. When we moved here 11 years ago after my parents divorced, I really saw my mom take the weight of our family on her shoulders, and really seeing her work every day to provide for my brother and me. And now that she's married to my stepdad, whom I also talked about, she also works to provide for his 3 kids. And it's just seeing someone who is a teacher, and obviously teachers don't get the best pay, but still is able to work so hard and cultivate her children to be great people. I mean, I admire her more every day.
Wonderful. Well, let's give a few more kudos to your mom and tell us a little bit about her teaching career and where she is right now.
She's at Tennyson Middle School right now, teaching at the Atlas Academy, but she's taught everywhere. She was at Lake Air my 7th grade year, her first year, and taught there a few years, was at Waco High for a few years, and was actually my sophomore English teacher and my junior English teacher. And now she's at Tennyson, and I can honestly say she's one of the best teachers I've ever had.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now we get to the part of the interview that you did, and of course we want to ask you about also, and it's about your memories of Waco High School. This place, as I mentioned earlier, means a lot to you. Tell me about a fond memory or some of the fondest memories you'll take away from here.
Again, my experiences in extracurriculars have just been, they've impacted my life very much. I got into mock trial my sophomore year because my brother and my cousin had did it my freshman year, and they told me what a great group of friends it was and how it was like their second family and their home away from home. And I absolutely felt that when I joined the team. And my sophomore and junior year, we were lucky enough to win our regional competition and move on to the state level competition. My sophomore year, we got 8th place in the state, and last year we got 13th. I believe. So that was just a great experience. Again, just a group of people working to do the very best that they can and win the competition. And then choir and theater, every production we ever put on will always be in my memory, because it was always just so great to see everything come together and to see the audience just loving what we were doing. And finally, again, my advanced academics classes have really, they've been fun and they've challenged me at the same time, and that's something I've always been looking for, and that's one of the reasons I chose Trinity, because I really feel that that vibe radiates from that school, and I've had some of the best teachers that I could have asked for, and I couldn't have asked for a better high school experience.
And you may have just answered the final question you were probably asked during the Crippen Hurd Scholarship questioning, and that is, what does Waco High School mean to you? I mean, if you, in a nutshell, if you could put it all into one sentence, and you may have just said it there. So,
well, I think what I actually said in my interview was that Waco High has meant more to me than I thought a school could. It's a place where I've been able to find my group of friends and really a family away from my home, and it's also a place where I've really found my stride and really been able to take comfort in those around me and the things that I do, and where I've found my passions, and it's just been a great 4 years.
And of course, you capped it off by also being named the valedictorian of your class, and I want to congratulate you for that.
Thank you very much.
And talk a little bit about of that experience and getting to speak to a huge crowd at the Farrell Center just recently.
Well, my goal was to be valedictorian since I knew what a valedictorian was. And about halfway through this year, I found out that my rank was 2. And I would have been so happy to make a speech regardless, but I made sure to work extra hard that second semester to get my GPA back up. And I found out, I think the last day of school, Mr. Laredo came into show choir and gave me a letter that said, "You've been named the valedictorian of Waco High School." And I'd already been working on a speech, but giving a speech at graduation was really humbling. To see all those people there, all listening to what I was saying and hanging by my every word, and it was something that I will never forget, and I'm hoping that the audience will never forget either.
Certainly, and you will never forget this place and this stage, and I'm sure you'll be coming back whenever you can from Trinity to watch the now juniors, soon to be seniors in action, because you're leaving behind a lot of friends, not only fellow seniors, but underclassmen as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
Good job. Well, Matthew Reynolds, I want to thank you again for joining us today. Congratulations on receiving the Dorothy Crippen Hurd Scholarship.
Thank you.
And I want to remind everybody at home that the Waco ISD Education Foundation is an independent nonprofit organization that promotes quality education in Waco ISD. This spring, the foundation, in fact, awarded $100,000 in classroom grants to teachers with innovative ideas to enhance their students' learning abilities, and awarded $15,750 in scholarships to university and Waco High seniors. If you would like to donate to the foundation or find out more, go to www.wacoisdfoundation.org, or you can call 254-755-9517. Again, congratulations to Matthew Reynolds, the Dorothy Crippen Hurd Scholarship winner for 2013. My name is Dale Caffey, reminding you at Waco ISD we have learners today and leaders tomorrow, just like Matthew Reynolds.